Welcome to this session. Implementing key competences in schools involves not only specifying them in curricula, as we have heard earlier in this module, but also developing appropriate implementation conditions, teaching methods, and assessment. In this video, we will highlight the main teaching and assessment methods which are conducive to fostering students' competence development. Traditional classroom environments are often not the most appropriate context for the effective development of key competences. The key competence approach, with its emphasis on the application of knowledge in real-world situations, represents a significant departure from traditional content-based approaches, where subjects are taught and assessed discretely. The main recommended approach to teaching key competences is through the provision of interactive learning environments, in which learners can engage in practical inquiry-based tasks. These environments present open-ended problems and challenges to be solved through debate, experimentation, exploration, and creativity. Educational research by Dewey and Vygotsky, promoting a social and constructivist approach to learning, emphasizes the importance of competence development within a social learning context, where learners are engaged in active learning in real-life situations. Simulating real-world contexts has three main purposes. It can motivate learners more than traditional approaches, learners are more likely to remember concepts they discover on their own, and it provides a meaningful context for problem-based learning. Project-based learning is a particularly well-suited method for the development of pupils' competences, as several key competences can be addressed simultaneously in a cross-curricular manner. In Module 2, we will look more closely at ways of implementing project-based learning in schools. In summary, teaching key competences involves a greater emphasis on interactive learning environments, allowing students to work in teams on multidisciplinary topics, benefit from technology-enhanced learning, and have the mental, physical, social, and emotional space to collaborate on solving problems. Let's take a look at a school in Finland which has recently invested in developing a new physical learning environment.
Welcome to my school. This is our newest physics lab. For the lessons, we have tables and chairs which are very movable. You can be your own, you can have a pair, or you can make a group when the lesson starts.
There was an art course that involved upper secondary students, and after the course there was a chance for every student in the school to comment and tell their opinions about the new learning space.
When we are designing new learning environments, it's important to take account different kind of dimensions, for example, virtual dimension and social and psychological and physical.
Co-design element was that we were trying to involve all the members of the school to the design process, so the students would feel engaged and the teachers probably would be happier to take the new space to their teaching. Co-designing is a great way to find out how the space is used and also what is needed to make it better.
We have new technology, Apple TV, those smart boards, and it helps a lot in teaching. It makes it more interactive.
What would you say is the biggest success factor so far in your perception of how teachers and students use the new space?
Pupils are staying here longer, and a different type of pupils are working together even on their spare time. There is place to be alone or to be as a group.
The teachers and students in the Finnish school we just saw are part of a school which understands the importance of interactive learning environments for fostering competence development, and are also lucky enough to have access to financial resources to make this possible. Across Europe, however, a recent online survey found that teachers and head teachers alike rated insufficient financial resources for changing learning environments as one of the top 3 obstacles to teaching key competences. Investment in modernising learning spaces so that they enable diversified and interactive learning is therefore very important. Let's now look at 8 key principles for teaching key competences effectively. Firstly, teaching should be task-based. Learners should develop key competences through active, authentic, collaborative tasks based on problem solving. Problems should be complex and with multiple solutions, allowing students to produce a solution in a variety of forms. Secondly, teaching should be interdisciplinary, that is, taught through contexts that combine several subject areas. Thirdly, learning should be both collaborative and individualised. Learners must collaborate to develop social and communicative competences, but also be able to act autonomously and self-manage. Fourthly, teaching needs to be both learner and teacher-led. For example, while project-based learning encourages pupils to be active and responsible for their own learning, activities need to be supported by guidance and explicit instruction from the teacher where relevant. In particular, learners need support to develop their ability to learn independently, also known as the learning to learn competence, which we looked at earlier in this module. Fifthly, teaching and learning, where possible, should be technologically innovative. Involving the pedagogical use of ICT and mobile technology can really enhance students' digital competence, as well as an array of other competences. The sixth principle is that teaching and learning of key competences should take place both inside and outside of school. A learning environment does not have to be classroom-based. It can be outdoors or even virtual. Teaching should harness the potential of extracurricular activities and after-school programs, paying closer attention to how learners apply their informal and non-formal learning to what they learn in class. The seventh teaching principle is that teachers should collaborate with the wider community, including the social, cultural and business sectors, to create more opportunities for real-world learning. You will see examples of this in this module as well as in Module 2. Lastly, the teaching of key competences requires teachers to pay closer attention to the social and emotional aspects of learning, including the quality of relationships between and among teachers and learners. This is important as researchers have argued that supporting learners' social and emotional needs simulates well-rounded growth in learners, which forms a basis for the development of the full range of key competences. A personalised approach to learning has been endorsed by the new Maltese core curriculum programme, which targets low-ability learners at risk of failure during the last 3 years of compulsory education between the ages of 13 and 16. Students following the new competence-based core curriculum programme are accompanied by a mentor who follows their progress and is responsible for the students' holistic development and overall well-being. Let's hear from a head teacher and education officer in Malta involved in the design and implementation of the new curriculum.
This is actually the program which addresses students' issues, not in the context of one size fits all, but in the context of the student as an individual.
During the mentoring sessions, the mentor develops projects even with the students themselves and with other teachers and with a network of people like guidance teachers, like INCOs, who are the inclusion coordinators. We asked the mentor to focus specifically on the soft competencies. They are given the opportunity to speak a lot, to ask questions, to do things. So we have artifacts, we have presentations, we have debates, we have discussions. We can see them learning and then using peer and self-assessment. Most of it is continuous assessment. And for us in Malta, this is quite a big change because usually we're used to having summative assessments only. Apart from the continuous assessment, which happens throughout the year, and for portfolios for every single subject are being compiled, hopefully we're learning as well to use them in a productive way, and so in a more process-based portfolio rather than just a showcase portfolio. We also have summative assessment. We didn't want our students to feel different from the rest of the cohort. Then the grade achieved is a combination of what is achieved in the continuous assessment and in the summative assessment.
To tell us more about effective approaches for assessing key competences, some of which were just mentioned in the Maltese video we saw, let's now hear from a researcher who has worked on this topic for many years.